नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते संकृष्णदासकारिणीति नामिने नमो व्यवपादनोगप्यमूर्तिके पद्मने गौरदेशोकसार्थोत्तम भक्तिवर्षणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे Hare Krishna. So we are continuing Bhagavad Gita, and we had completed 26th verse of second chapter. Now we'll continue from 27th verse. So second chapter is contents of the Gita summarized, and the 27th verse is here. Okay. Anyone would like to read Mataji's?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danda Pranam ID.
Hare Krishna. Okay, yeah, you can go forward, Mataji.
Am I audible, Mataji?
Yeah, you can go ahead, Mataji. You are audible.
Hare Krishna Bhagavad Gita 2.27. Chatasya hi dhruvo mukte dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad aparihare rate na tvam sochitam arhasi. Synonyms. Chatasya, of one who has taken his birth, he certainly dhruva, a fact. Mrityu, death, dhruvam, it is also a fact. Janma, birth, matasya, of the dead. Cha, also, tasmat, therefore. Aparihare, of what, of that which is unavoidable. Artha, in the matter, na, do not come, you. Sochitam, to lament. Arhasi, that deserve. Translation. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Purport. One has to take birth according to one's activities of life, and after finishing one term of activities, one has to die to take birth for the next. In this way, one is going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. But at the same time, violence and war are inevitable factors in human society for keeping law and order. The battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was an inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid of or aggrieved at the death of his relatives since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reaction of sinful acts of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so Krishna, Lord Krishna is saying Arjuna here, one who has taken his birth. So anybody who has taken birth, it's sure that he's going to die one day or the other. And after birth, one is sure to take birth again. So this life cycle continues. So after birth, I mean, when one takes birth, then one has to die, and then there is, as per one's karma, one gets another birth. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. One has to take birth according to one's activities of life. So now, some child is born to some parents who are very nicely able to take care of the child, kind of very opulent family, and very nicely there are so many servants to attend to the child, whereas some child is born to some parents who are struggling to even provide food for the child. So it is according to jiva, living entities previous activities. One gets a particular kind of a body, particular kind of a parents, certain kind of relatives, and so on. So one has to take birth as per one's activities in one's previous lives, and after finishing one term of activities one has to die to take birth for the next. So whatever activities we do now, that is determining our next birth. It is said that actually the exam of life is at the time of death. What we are remembering, of course what we have been doing all our lifetime, what we are most attached to in our whole lifetime, in what activities we engage, what is our consciousness, so that we will remember at the time of leaving the body, and according to that we will get a suitable body in the next life. In this way one is going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. But at the same time, violence and war are inevitable. Now somebody will come to harm you, or kill someone, then it is obvious that one has to defend oneself. It's not that okay, I'm a devotee so I'll have to be non-violent, so you come and kill me. No, that is very crazy. Just like Mahatma Gandhi would say, no, if you slap me one side, I'll show the other, or something like that. But that is not accepted as per scriptures. If violence is required, it shouldn't be whimsical. When required to maintain law and order, one has to engage in it. So here the Pandavas, Arjuna, so they are fighting a religious battle actually. So so this act of engaging in this war, though it seems to be kind of a violence, but in order to maintain the law and order in the society, it was needed. The battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was an inevitable event and to fight for the right cause. Yes, beyond all our moral values, social values, and everything, what is the will of the Lord? What the Lord wants from us? It was his desire that the battle has to happen so that Yudhishthira Maharaj will be enthroned as the king, as the emperor. So even if Arjuna has to kill so many of his own family members or so many great personalities, so there was no sinful reaction. He's not going to get any sinful reactions for it. Was an inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause is duty of a Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid or aggrieved at the death of his relative, since he was discharging his proper duty? So our practice of Krishna consciousness, we also face some kind of opposition from our own family members who are very near and dear to us. The same was Arjuna's situation, much, of course, to a much different level, in the sense that he had to kill them. So at least we are not in that situation. But because it was a desire of the Lord, he executed it. Keeping aside all his attachments and everything. Similarly, in our personal lives also, we may face some kind of similar situations, but we have to understand what is the will of the Lord. Human life is meant for practicing bhakti. Today I was hearing a lecture, probably I am hearing that lecture of Prabhupada a couple of times. Prabhupada is mentioning animal life is meant for sense gratification, but human life is meant for some other purpose, and that actual other purpose is what? Self-realization. To become a devotee, to not become, we are devotees of the Lord, to awaken that consciousness. So he did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reactions of sinful acts of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relative because it was already planned by the Lord. We will see further in the coming chapters. In one of the verses, Krishna tells Arjuna that you are just nimita matra, you are just an instrument. Arjuna was just an instrument in her hands. If Arjuna wouldn't fight, uh, then also some way or the other, all these assembled kings and all, they will be killed because it was Krishna's plan. So Arjuna was just a instrument. He would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action. Okay, we'll go to next verse. Neela Mataji, are you able to hear me? Would you be able to read this verse?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Avyakta bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata. Avyakta nidhanaya eva tattva paridevana. Avyakta adini, in the beginning, unmanifested, Dani, all that are created, manifested. Madhyani, in the middle, Bharata, O descendant of Bharata. Avyakta, non-manifested, Vidhyani, when rescued, Eva, it is all like that. Tatra, therefore, what? Paridevana, lamination. All created beings are unmanifested in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when related. So what need is there for lamentation? Accepting that there are two class philosophers, one believing in the existence of the soul and the other not believing in the existence of the soul. There is no cause for lamentation. In either case, non-believers in the existence of the soul are called atheists by the followers of Vedanta. Yet, even if for argument's sake we accept this atheistic theory, there is still no cause for lamentation. Apart from the separate existence of the soul, the material elements remain unmanifested before creation. From this subtle state of non-manifestation comes manifestation. Just as from ether air is generated, from air fire is generated, from fire water is generated, and from water earth becomes manifested. From the earth, many varieties of manifestations take place. Take, for example, a big skyscraper manifested from the earth. When it is dismantled, the manifestation becomes again unmanifested and remains as atoms in the ultimate stage. The law of conservation of energy remains, but in course of time, things are manifested and unmanifested. That is the difference. Then what cause is there for lamentation? For lamentation, either in the state of manifestation or in unmanifestation, somehow or even in the unmanifested stage, things are not lost. Both at the beginning and at the end, all elements remain unmanifested, and only in the middle of the game manifested, and this does not make any real material difference. And if we accept the Vedic conclusion as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, that these material bodies are perishable in due course of time. Antavanta eme deha, but when the soul is eternal, Nitya Shokta Sarinama, then we must remember always that the body is like a dress. Therefore, why lament the change of things? The material body has some subtle existence in relation to the eternal soul. It is something like a dream. In a dream, we may think of flying in the sky or sitting on a chariot as a king. But when we wake up, we can see that we are neither in the sky nor seated on the chariot. The Vedic wisdom encourages self-realization on the basis of non-existence of the material body. Therefore, in either case, whether one believes in the existence of the soul or one does not believe in the existence of soul, there is no cause for lamentation for loss of the body.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, all created beings are unmanifest in the beginning, manifest in the interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what does it mean? Now, if we see in the Bhagavatam in detail, it is mentioned how from Mahavishnu, from the pores in the the from the body of Mahavishnu, from the pores on the body of Mahavishnu, different universes come, and then Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters as Garbhodakshay Vishnu into each of the universe, and then Brahmaji comes and like that, and then there's mention of Kshirodakashay Vishnu. So when the creation has to happen, of course creation is always present. It is the universe as they come, or the material world is manifested from the pores of the body of Mahavishnu, but it is at the time of annihilation. What happens? Everything that enters into the body of Mahavishnu. It's something like a small seed. You plant a small seed in the put a seed in the soil, then after if you water it nicely and like that, gradually you will see a small seedling, then it grows into a plant and becomes a tree. Like that it becomes manifest. So the tree is present in that small seed, but it is in a unmanifest state. Over the period of time, by nurturing it nicely, it becomes manifest. And later, after many years, of course trees have so many years of lifetime, but after many years it dwindles. So similarly, the created beings are unmanifest in the beginning, then the transcendental body of Mahavishnu, and then manifest when the creation happens. Then as per our material desires, whatever we had, we by grace of Brahmaji, we get a particular kind of body as per our material desires. And then at the time of annihilation, again we are in the unmanifest or in the dormant state in the body of Mahavishnu. So what need is there for lamentation? Accepting that there are two classes of philosophers, one believing in the existence of soul and other not believing. So this we have discussed earlier. There were categories like what there were two technical terms mentioned, if you remember, Vaivashikas and Lokayatikas, something like that. Who do not believe in the existence. So, and they give some philosophy, but a sane person cannot accept it, because um, and so even if one accepts, even if one thinks, okay, there is no soul, there is no cause for lamentation in either case. Earlier also we have discussed why to lament for a bunch of chemicals. If somebody thinks that, okay, this body or there's no soul, the living entity is made of a bunch of chemicals. So what is the use of lamenting for the bunch of chemicals? If I die, then what is the use of lamenting? Because it's just chemicals, no? 10 rupees, 100 rupees worth. So what's the use of lamenting? So those who believe in the existence of soul or those who do not believe, there's no cause for lamentation. Non-believers in the existence of the soul are called atheists by followers of Vedic wisdom. Yet, even if for argument's sake we accept this atheistic theory, so this is just for argument's sake, just to show that, okay, even if somebody is an atheist, one need not lament. There is still no cause for lamentation. Apart from the separate existence of the soul, the material elements remain unmanifested before creation. So even the material elements, earth, water, fire, ether, all these things, they remain unmanifested before the creation, because everything enters into the body of Mahavishnu at the time of annihilation. From this subtle state of non-manifestation comes manifestation, just as from ether air is generated. So this sequence we can remember, like the five main gross elements, if you see, are ether, air, water, fire, earth, air, ether, fire. So how this is coming into existence? From ether air is generated, from air fire comes, from fire water, and from water earth becomes manifest. From the earth many varieties of manifestations take place. For example, a big skyscraper manifested from the earth. The buildings and all these things we see, it's all made from bricks and everything. When it is dismantled, the manifestation becomes again unmanifest. So there was no building. For example, there's a land, and somebody owns that land and they construct a nice house or a building, and then due to some reason the house is dismantled. It's maybe it's unauthorized or something, so the government dismantles it. Now recently it had happened in Noida here. So that means what? It becomes unmanifest again. There was no building, and building was there, constructed, so that became manifest. And then when it was dismantled, then it became unmanifest again. So similarly, we similarly is it's the same case for the living entities and material elements. When the creation happens, they become, before that they are unmanifest state. When creation happens, they are manifested, and at annihilation, at the time of annihilation, they are again into back into their unmanifest state or dormant state. When it is dismantled, the manifestation becomes again unmanifested and remains as atoms in the ultimate stage. The law of conservation of energy remains. So the living entities or the material energy, it's there, but it is in the dormant state. So in one sense, that law of conservation of energy, which we might have studied in our so-called science books in schools, potential energy, kinetic energy, total energy is still the same. There may be difference in sometimes potential energy is converted to kinetic energy and so on. So but the total energy is the same. So it's similar here. Not from these concepts, actually the scientists have somehow deduced those things. But in course of time, things are unmanifested and unmanifested. That is the difference. Then what cause is there for lamentation either in the state of manifestation or unmanifestation? So the living entity is not there's no death. One point of time when it is unmanifest state, it's just in a dormant state, like the fetus is in the womb of the mother. So the living entity is there, the child is there, but in a dormant state. When the child takes birth, is like, okay, is a manifest state. Similarly, we are living entities, material elements, they are all present, eternally existing. The only thing is that sometimes they are manifest, sometimes non-manifest. Of course, the material elements are temporary, but otherwise they are sometimes manifest and sometimes unmanifest. So for that, what is the cause of lamentation? It's not annihilated, it's not vanquished, it's not over, or this the living entity at the time of death, for example, or the time of annihilation of the whole world is not becoming um, vanquished. It's still existing, but in a dormant state. So why to lament for that? Existence is still there, so there's no need to lament. Somehow or other, even in unmanifested, things are not lost. Both at the beginning and at the end, all elements remain unmanifested, and only in the middle are they manifested, and then and this does not make any real material difference. And if we accept the very conclusion as stated in the Bhagavad Gita that these material bodies are perishable, these material bodies are like we saw, if one has taken birth, when one has to die, so the body is going to get over, it will be vanquished one day. But the soul is eternal. Then we must remember always that the body is like a dress. Therefore, why lament the changing of a dress? The material body has no factual existence in relation to the eternal soul. It is something like a dream. In a dream, we may think of flying in the sky or sitting on a chariot as a king, but when we wake up, we can see that we are neither in the sky nor seated on the chariot. So, when we sleep, sometimes we see some dreams, like very crazy dreams. We are flying or doing something which is very logical. I mean, flying, I cannot fly, but we may see that in the dream. So it is something which, and at the time of dreaming, I feel that yes, it is true. But when we wake up, we understand that okay, it was just a dream, it's not true. Similarly, our present state, when we think that okay, I'm this body, it's like a dream state. It's like a dream state. Actually, we are not this body, but we are thinking I'm this body. I'm child of this and this. I'm studying in this college. I'm an Indian. All these things. These are all designations. These are all dream. Actually, we are not so. We are spiritual beings, part and parcel of the Lord. The Vedic wisdom encourages self realization, the basis of the non existence of the material body. Therefore, in either case, whether one believes in the existence of the soul or one does not believe in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation for the loss of the body. So, that is the point. Okay, I will stop here. Okay. If there is any points, Mataji, you would like to mention something from these two verses, or if you have any queries, we can discuss on that.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, I want to ask, I have a confusion related to the service of Lord I am doing at home. Uh, Whenever it comes to that I have to choose between the serving my parents and the serving Lord. Sometimes it's a kind of uh, clash between the two, that which I have to give priority first, and if I'm giving priority to one, the other is clash. Is other duty I'm having, that is I'm not able to fulfill that very properly. So, how to choose? How to give priority to either a service to Lord, or it's related to parents, serving to them. And in our moral values, we have been taught that parents are as equal to God. So I'm little bit confused. Kindly show me the right path. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it is just uh, many factors. First of all, we have to understand, yeah, even in childhood, we are taught that thing, that parents are equal to God, or they are God, or something like that. But we must understand they are just a medium, medium for our birth. Um, why? Because there are many children who are born dead, or who die in the fetus form itself. So, do their parents want to kill them, or do they want the child to be born dead? No. So we cannot claim somebody to be my child, my parent, my friend, or something, because if they were really mine, then I would be able to control, it whatever I want, I would be able to do the same way. But it doesn't happen so. So scriptures say, um, just like this example is given, a bundle of sticks. If you throw a bundle of sticks in the sea, in the sea water, then it will be washed away and it will be separated. Somewhere some one stick will fall, will go to the beach, some other part of the beach, some other stick will go, and different other sticks or different other things will come together, and so the actual bundle which you had thrown, they are separated, and some other sticks or some other garbage stuff and all comes together to the beach. Similarly, as per our karma, we come together as family members, as friends, as society, as community, as born in a particular nation, and so on. So it's all as per our karmic reactions. We come together. Now, when we have come together, okay, we are taught, okay, we have this duty and everything. But now when we are coming to Krishna consciousness, we have to understand that the highest duty is what? Self-realization, because that's the purpose of my human life. I may be able to serve my parents, but I don't become self-realized, then what will happen? In the material world, the law of nature is like, if I give something to someone, then I'll have to get the reaction from. I may serve someone very nicely, but I'll have to come back in a different some other life, and I have to accept that particular kind of a similar service from that particular soul in some form or the other. So this is the law of nature. If you give someone, you will have to get it back. I may give some money to a beggar. Now I have to come back. It seems to be a pious thing, to a good thing, but I have to come back to get the reaction. Sometime I will be in a position that the same living entity will have to give me that that money. So that's how the law of nature works. And service, we should understand what is service. Actual service is to give Krishna consciousness to others. I may try to serve the body, but I cannot preserve the body. One day or the other, I may take care of someone so nicely, so much, but still they have to get old and they have to get sick. This I cannot, it's not in my control. So what service I am doing? My service is waste then. So actual service is what? To give them Krishna consciousness. Now it's a little kind of, sometimes it's difficult to give Krishna consciousness in the family, but many are successful as well. So you have to begin somewhere in the form of giving prasadam, in the form of sometimes speaking to them about something, but best thing to begin with is prasadam. Best thing is to begin with is prasadam. So we have to first of all understand what we are supposed to do, and then as per time, place, circumstance, we can do what is needed, what we are supposed to do. We can understand that time, but at least we should be convinced that yes, that our actual purpose of human life is self-realization. Our actual purpose is self-realization. And at home, yeah, it needs a little bit time management. I have to do the offering, for example, at some time I have to manage in a way that, okay, and people in the family may be taking they need food just sometime around that time. Then we can make our offering a little bit early or something, fix a time. So we have to do a little bit of time management in that case, but at least we should be convinced what we are doing and why we are doing, what's the priority. So that we should be very much convinced. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Now I understood the whole thing about the management and the priority. Thank you so much for showing choosing the right thing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your question. And there are the whole Srimad Bhagavatam will find in the purports and the verses quoted by Srila Prabhupada, and of course in the Bhagavatam itself, the verses mentioned. it's this bond of, bound by a network of these attachments and everything on the bodily level. So we have to come out of it. And also in this chapter, 15th chapter, especially 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, how we are bound in this network of attachment, we have to come out of it, come to the transcendental platform. But it should not be artificial, that okay, I'm not going to cook for anyone. I don't have any attachment, I'm not going to cook for anyone. I'll do my own things and do chanting. So it shouldn't be artificial. So these things we need to understand and manage things nicely. Thank you for your nice question. Okay, Neela Mataji, you'd like to say something?
No, Mataji, I don't have anything to say today.
Then you have to ask anything.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Yes.
Mataji, why marriage is important, and when we marry, we have a family, or means wife, husband, means, and then we got attached to them. Then how it works means marrying and then not getting too connected to them, or means how to remain detached.
Very nice question. I can understand what things are going on. Now I can get a clue, I think. Okay. As per scriptures, marriage for female, one in a female body, Prabhupada said all men should be brahmacharis and all ladies should get married, like that. I mean, among his disciples and all. So Gurudev says, yeah, that was the dilemma. Like how everybody will be brahmacharis and then but the ladies has to get married. But because somebody or the else will be there among the men who would be liking to get married. So like that. So the point is, when we are in the female body, marriage is meant for protection. Scriptures say that when child, she is protected by father, and then when grown up, she is handed over to some able candidate, and the husband protects. And earlier, further, when she is old, she is protected by the sons. Otherwise, not necessary to have a child or something, but if not, then they'll be protected by the Lord, or they can take. There are different ways to take shelter. So the point is that one has to be protected when we are in the female body, because it's not very safe. Even in a place like Vrindavan, it's not very safe for a single lady to be living, it's not very safe. Of course, Krishna protects. There's no doubt. We cannot doubt that. Okay, won't Krishna protect me? Krishna protects, but the devotee doesn't want to give, doesn't want to take, give Krishna trouble, or doesn't want to take much service from Krishna. So whatever minimum things necessary, so that's why. But it shouldn't be like okay, XYZ candidate get married to someone just for the sake of getting married. That shouldn't be the case. One has to be a devotee first of all. Otherwise, both of their life is like waste. It's gone waste. So you are practicing Krishna consciousness. You at least know why this process of self-realization is important. So you have to be determined that even if you are going to get married, you should get married to a devotee. That makes it very that will help you to continue your practice of Krishna consciousness, and together practicing also will be very nice. At the same time, there are certain cases where one gets married to a non-devotee, and then the other person also, based on the strength of one spouse, the other one also can become Krishna conscious. But there's a risk when we are in female body, what happens generally, we go along with what the husband does. If there is no, he's a non-devotee, then in many cases I have seen that the Mataji, she gives up her practice. There are many cases I've seen there. I know somebody who was not initiated, was sheltered, just the process before initiation. She had taken shelter, she had got the Guru Pranam mantra, but still somehow, based on the pressure of her family and so on, she got married to a non-devotee, and then she had to leave everything. Initially, okay, said that okay, you can go to the bhakti vrikshas and this and that. Then it ended up in like she had to even cook non-veg and everything, like that. So it depends upon one's own strength of practice. One is very determined, then the other person may be favorable or not favorable, but still one can continue one's practice, but it becomes a risk. Not many cases we don't see like the husband becomes a devotee or something like that. So it's better that both are devotees. It's best that both are devotees. How grace to remain unattached. I saw devotee in temple having children and they are attached and detached. Practically, we cannot say that we are detached. There is a strong attachment, very strong attachment, but at least by these classes of Bhagavatam, and then by our proper hearing, chanting, and engaging together in service, that will um, help us to understand that okay, this particular living entity who is my family member is actually a servant of Krishna, is actually part and parcel of Krishna. So it's my duty, now he's given my care, so it's my duty to give them Krishna conscious, or to facilitate their Krishna consciousness. So that one has to come to that mood. So even if the attachment is there, but it becomes a it's not like okay, my child, but we cannot claim that everyone in the devotee community is on that level. We cannot claim that. That's a very high level, of course, but yeah, that's how it should be. The real standard I'm saying you, the ideal standard I'm saying you. So okay, so it's my service, he's given my care to serve him by helping him to become a pure devotee. So when we have that mood, then that's a proper way we can be kind of do our part very nicely to give Krishna consciousness. That kind of attachment to give Krishna consciousness, to make somebody Krishna conscious, is very good. But okay, my child and everything, I'll give you nice education and nice this one, but no Krishna consciousness, then that becomes a waste. That is not very helpful. That's neither service nor we're not doing anything good for that child, for that living entity. So yeah, it's said by the weapon of what is that? By the weapon of knowledge, you have to cut down this. Something was there, I forgot. There's a verse in 15th chapter. You read the 15th chapter, it's very nice regarding this attachment. How we have to cut that attachment by the
Yes.
sword of knowledge.
Yes.
I hope it
Okay,
helped
thank
you.
you so much for the answer.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll close for now. Thank you so much, Matris, for joining.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
One
Krishna.
more thing I want to share, Mataji,
Yes,
that sometimes when we are surrounded by non-devotees at a place or in a home, it's very difficult to be to remember Lord all the time, because there are so many can say materialistic things are going on everywhere in the house, that it's become very tough to think like concentrating job or concentration literally become just devastated. So it's very difficult to be conscious all the time when we are surrounded by the non-devotees. And it's become very, sometimes I feel like very frustrating at that time and angry also. But I control my emotions for that. So little bit I am very disturbed by 2 3 days. It's become very tough to concentrate on my Krishna. So
Hare Krishna. Yes, that is true. That is why we always, the ABCD in Krishna consciousness, the first comes is association. So it is said, if a person associates with a drunkard, gradually that person also will become drunkard. And if a person associates with a devotee, the person will gradually become a devotee. Just like, there is a story, there is a parrot who is, if a parrot is in a saintly person's house, then will say Hari Bol or chant some shlokas or something like that. They learn whatever things are happening around, they learn that. But a parrot is in, it is at a play at a very, some dacoit's place or something, such an environment, then the parrot also will be like, okay, kill him or do this, or kill that person. So we learn similar things or similar words. So association matters a lot. That's why in Nectar of Instruction, first and second verse especially, both the verses is mentioned asat sangatyag, ahi Vaishnava. So asat sangatyag, so that is very important. When something is unavoidable, then yeah, we can just in our mind or softly to ourselves we can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to ourselves to, you know when something is unavoidable. Yes, that's true. Okay, thank you for sharing that, and reminding all of us how important is devotee association. Okay, so we'll close for now, and I'll remember. Yesterday I forgot, somehow I missed the 8 o'clock time again. Today I'll remember and we'll have. So whoever can join, that's okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.